Okay. So today let us understand something about machine learning. Okay. So before machine learning, let us understand what is learning. What is learning? So if you see any kids at your home, they go to school, right? Play school essentially. What they learn in play school is essentially identifying colors, identifying shapes, okay, and then making some small sounds, okay, like A, B, C, D. So what they are doing is they are learning. Essentially, everybody learn till they die. Okay. So if you try to understand this learning better, human learning, and then apply it for machines, it is what is machine. So there are three types of learning essentially. One is labeled, another is unlabeled, and then we have third one called reinforced. So labeled means I'll tell that this is yellow. I'll show you a color and say this is yellow. Next time I'll show the same color and ask what is the color? Yellow. I show you one picture. I say this is cat. Second time I'll show the same picture and ask what is the cat. So I show different number of colors, shades in yellow, and I say all of these are called as yellow. So I'm labeling pictures or colors with a little difference, and then saying that these are all related to the same category or they are all of same category. So next time you get it little bit different yellow, still you recognize it as it. That is learning. It's not repetition. I will not show whatever the yellow. I have shown 5 shades of yellow. Next time I will not show the the same 5 shades, but I will show the 6th shade of yellow. So you say this is also yellow. Similarly, I show 10 pictures of cat. Next time I will not repeat the 10 pictures, but I will get one more picture of cat. You say this is cat. I know. Have you ever seen the same cat? No. But you know because you have understood, you have labeled that, and then you remember some characteristics in that particular picture, and you say that is also cat or that is also dog. So this is called as labeled learning. So second one is unlabeled, which means I will not label anything. So for a part-time, you went to a party. Yes, part-time will not go to party, but we went to arrange the party. Okay, like a organizer, we went to party. So there, the owners of the party or who are hosting the party host bought some sweets. So every sweet is in 2 or 3 boxes, not in single box. They asked you to arrange the sweets. Or you yourself will arrange the sweets, right? You will not just put into boxes. Do you want to understand the names of the sweets? No. You just open the boxes, you will see what sweets looks same. You put all of those into same. This is not labeled. This is your understanding or identifying some patterns. Okay. So you are identifying some patterns, saying that okay, if it is square, white, I'll put into one place. If it is triangular and then it is in a creamy color, might be different sweet. Right? So you put it into different place. So round, red, there's a different sweet. So you don't know the name of that sweet. You don't know whether it is kalakani or blah blah blah. Something, right? But you are just putting that into different. So it is you are not trying beforehand to name it. You are not trying to understand what it is, but still you are identifying. Similarly, if you see our kids also, they don't know the difference between triangle, circle, and square and rectangle. But when you throw the things on the ground in play schools, they try to identify those things and then put it into different baskets. That is one activity normally play schools will do. So they are trying to segregate things. They are able to actually distinguish the differences. Right? So that is unlabeled. Then what is reinforced? Reinforced is, I think most of you might be playing games, right? Video games. So we don't know what is there. If I go this direction, what will be there? I don't know. If I go this direction, what will be there? I don't know. So what I do, I take it back. And then slowly I run this side. I'll see, okay, there is nothing. The door is closed. I lock the door and see and then come back. This is reinforced. Try like that. You go do, understand and then come back. Right? In our life also when we are doing business and all. So we don't know whether it will be successful or not. We try and come back. Advertising strategies, marketing strategies, many times. It's not like technology. Technology is very simple because for everything you have an answer. Or somebody might have already gone through that thing. But in marketing and sales and businesses, things are different. So you try one strategy, if it doesn't work, you come back. So this is what is reinforced learning. Means you are failing and then learn. So these are the three types of learning. So we don't know what kind of training was given to a model. A model is a computer entity or a library which is trained beforehand. And then we can use it to identify the objects. So here we have an object detections. So we have a lot of such libraries in Python, essentially, where you can identify. So the other students of mine have actually done a interesting project to detect harmful objects. For example, a knife is a harmful object. Okay, a hammer is a harmful object. So all these objects will be detected. Why those need to be detected? I can detect by this is for blind people. So blind people can keep a mobile phone with camera on with our app running, and then they will be walking on the street with the help of the stick. So if a person is coming with a knife, as a person who I can see, I can run away. But they can't. So for them, actually this will identify that there is a knife. So it will tell in the earphone, like that run away, go in the opposite direction. Right? So this is one of the use of identifying objects. Why should we identify? In airports, when they scan, normally there is a CRPF police who will keep on monitoring the screen, the X-ray scanner, to see if there are any knife. So there are some items that we cannot take into the flight. You can't take oil and all in the luggage, and you can't take powder, face powder, talcum powder, right? In your carry bag, bagging luggage, right? So few things you can put into checking luggage, few things you need to take it into the baggage or the carry bag. So for identifying that, actually there are so many people and they should keep on looking. And sometimes even if they go for washroom, the entire line will be stopped. So they have to, if you actually go to Delhi and all, the terminal 3 will be hugely crowded. So most of the time actually it takes 1 hour to complete the security. So in that kind of areas, if you have this kind of object detection systems, it will be very easy, right? Because the computer will detect the objects and it will stop the package and then send it to the. Right now it is actually, even though the scanning happens, human has to tell that this package should be, sent to the other. Actually, there will be two ways actually. Like one is strike and one is like the L. So if there is any problem with our baggage, it will actually take a L route and go to the end, and they will actually open the bag, the other person, the other security person, and ask us what is, and they will either confiscate that item or they will take us into custody if that something is more objection. So here, why we are using this kind of machine learning is to detect the objects in a photograph. Either we take that photograph through camera or we take that photograph through our gallery. We select a photograph from the gallery. Two options. Because all of your computers doesn't have webcam. So we will be using it from gallery, but still we will be implementing the code for camera. So when you go home, actually, you can carry this code and then test it in your laptops, because your laptops will be having the camera. Or at the end, actually, you can take the APK and install it in your phone. So we will be using image labeling. Image labeling is essentially identifying what object is there in the image. So we are using Firebase ML Kit. So Firebase ML Kit is a machine learning toolkit by Google. Now you know what is machine, right? I mean, essentially, for this project, whatever we need to know is it is going to identify. It can do a lot of things. We are seeing it in the kind of generative AI tools, right? Like ChatGPT and all. And hopefully, you know what is the difference between AI and generative AI. Anybody know what is the difference between AI and generative AI? So AI is a very broad term. You can do a lot of things with it, right? Generative AI is a very small piece of AI, which says it can generate things. Means you ask something, it will generate. You ask write a paragraph on some event, okay. So or create slides for my presentation or workshop, it will create it. Or you ask create an image. So it is generating. That's why it is called as generating. But here, my AI is not generating it. It's actually identifying, right? So everything comes under AI, but AI is a very broad term. Generative AI is a niche term. So there are also other APIs like Google Vision, but we are using Firebase ML for this workshop. So these are the differences between Firebase and Google Vision, and particularly the first point is important because it doesn't need internet when you are using it. Like once you install your APK, so entire model will come into your phone. So your model is on your phone. So even if you don't have internet, still you can actually scan something and then identify that. So as I told, if you are using any library means someone else's work. So you are not writing the book. Somebody has written the book. If somebody has written the book, where the book will be library. Right? If you have written your own notes, no need of book. So libraries in Java are exposed through jar files. And if you want to use somebody else's library, then you need to first download. Right? And as I told, we will not download and then maintain the dependencies. We use Gradle. So you see, actually, because we need to use this, we are first adding that into build.gradle, which is com.google. So com is the company, right? Normally our websites end with .com. In packages, it starts with com. Then the company, Google. Then MLKit is the division, right? And then image labeling is the actual line. Colon your version of that line. 17.0.7. So what should be used? Which version should be used? Previously we used to, when we don't have this certificate at all, we used to do trial and error and see compatible version. But right now it's very easy. Like you can search in the ChatGPT, Gemini or Surface. It is going to suggest you whatever is the best version and compatible version. So I am using 17.0.7. Where I should put this? Into your Gradle file. Whenever you change your Gradle in your Android Studio, it will say sync. Meaning, whatever the library is already installed or downloaded are different when compared to build.gradle. Either there are extra packages or there are changes in the versions or some libraries are removed from the build.gradle. So which means it is saying that sync your downloaded files with what is written in build.gradle. So whenever you see, either it will delete some libraries or it will download new libraries or it will replace the existing libraries with a different version. Okay. So whenever you make any changes in build.gradle, remember you need to click on sync now. Sometimes it will not say sync now, but it will say try again. But whatever it comes, actually first you should do that. Otherwise, nothing will work after whatever you are doing. Okay, so if you try to use this library in main activity.java or home activity.java, it will throw errors. It will start showing compilation errors. So this is the Java code. So here, what I'm doing is I am creating a labeler. So labeler, what does labeler will do is it will try to identify the object. Labeling means identity. Okay. So I am going to create an instance of labeler. Instance means in Java object, right? So sometimes you can't create an object directly using name in Java for some reasons. Okay, one of the reasons, such reason is logger, for example. If you want to log something, logging means actually if you want to write something to a file so that you can debug your program. Okay, it's not the file value. You want to print saying that I am able to log in. Okay, login is not possible. I am not able to connect to API server. So you want to debug those things. So you will log those things into a file. You will write those things into a file. For that we use log. Yesterday also you have used log capital L, log dot. So for all these logger, you can't create multiple instances because if you create multiple instances, few logs will go somewhere, few logs will. So these are called as single instance classes, which means for that class will have only one object. So how we can do that? It will not allow you. So you only can get an instance using something like getter. So here you can see image labeling dot get client. So get will give an object, and that object name is labeler. I just have given the variable as labeler. You can use anything. And I'm saying default options, so I'm not changing anything. Then labeler dot process image. So for a labeler, I should give an image. Otherwise, where it will find the object, right? So that image I'm creating in the first line, saying that input image equal to input image from bitmap, my bitmap comma 0. So this actually, when we go through the entire code, you can see that this image is nothing but which is either coming from camera or coming from gallery. Okay, gallery or whatever, from wherever you select the file. You can select it from gallery, sometimes you can select it from downloads. So I'll also show how to add those files into our emulator. So if you see actually, if you have a file, downloaded file on your laptop, doesn't mean that it is available on emulator. Emulator is a separate entity which is running on your machine. So the file system of your computer is different than the file system of emulator. Okay, I say okay, select it from downloads. You just opened browse and then you went into downloads of emulator. You will not see anything. Whatever you have in your downloads will not be shown there. Okay. So whatever is there in my computer doesn't mean that I know everything. Computer is different, I am different, right? So computer might be having more information, or I might be having more information. Depends on who is better, right? So based on that, either computer or me has to transfer the data. So what we do is from computer, we put the data into emulator. For that, we go into device explorer. Yesterday we have seen running devices, device manager, but there is something called device explorer, which means if you open the file system of the device, inside that you can see all the folder structure. Okay, /md, /storage, /sda. So there you can put it into SDA and downloads. You can just upload the file into the downloads folder. So it's tricky uploading files into download folder, but we will do that. So that particular image we are using, and then that image we are sending it to a method called process on labeler. See labeler.process of that image. And we are adding a listener. This listener is coming from your Android listeners, right? So if that is successful, then it might detect multiple objects in a file. If I take a photo of this, it might detect computer, it might detect keyboard, it might detect monitor, right? Separately, it might detect window, light, some. So it will detect multiple objects. Labels are objects. Okay. So we are using for, so this is a for each, loop in Java. For each label in labels, we read it like that. For each label in labels, colon is like in. We will get what is the text of that. It says apple, okay, umbrella, those are text. Then the confidence level. So what is confidence means? When I see something, I sometimes identify completely or sometimes I don't identify. If it is blur or something, I say probably it might be an umbrella, right? Probably it might be a pen. Okay. If you see actually there is a pen which is used by the diabetic patients to take insulin. Exactly looks like pen. It is not pen. It will have a needle on it. It actually allows you to put a cartridge inside that to inject the insulin. So if you also see there is something called pricker. For example, if I have to do a blood test for myself, okay, it looks like pen actually, but if I put it here and then click it, it will put a prick on my finger, and if I press it, I get blood. So this normally people use it for diabetic test or any other test. So these all look like pen. So there is a confidence concept in any of the object detection. So if you go for face recognition, there also we have confidence. So there are actually two concepts called confidence difference. So either some algorithms will give confidence, some other algorithms will give difference. Difference is like not having confidence, right? So it says that, for example, if I take your photograph and then take your photograph after 4 days, you might have bird, you might have tonsured your hair, depends, right? You remove your specs, you are in a low light. So definitely there will be some kind of difference. But if the difference is low, I say, okay, you are the same. Similarly, confidence level. So difference level should be less than 20 and confidence level should be more than 70 or 80. So both are like, if you subtract difference level from 100, you will get confidence level, something like that. Okay, they are inversely proportional. So here I'm looking at the confidence and then I'm just printing. But you can actually have a condition, if condition on top of that, saying that only if my confidence is more than 70%, then I identify. Because if you see when you copy paste my code, sometimes shirt will be recognized as jacket, jacket will be recognized as shirt, because I didn't put anything on that, any conditions. But from this place, after this workshop, you can actually, enhance this code, start digging into this code, and then make it a product instead of just workshop product. So today we will do, as a first lab, we'll capture an image from the gallery, pass it to Firebase ML Kit and label it. So let me show the code because I haven't shown you how to use camera. So for that, we need camera. Okay, so I'm just coming back because you need to understand the reason why we need camera, why we need camera. So now let us see how we should open gallery and how we should open camera. So for opening or for using any of the hardware uh, entities in your app, you need permissions. Okay, because app, if you are using app, the phone might be yours, might not be yours. Today, actually, you are creating APK, you are sending it to your phone, and then using it. But tomorrow, somebody else is using your phone. Okay, so you can't just think that because I am running on this phone is mine. Your app is different than the phone. So the person who is having the phone may or may not allow you to do something, right? So it's a security risk. So definitely you need to take permission from the person who is using the phone. The owner of the phone should give you access, you in the sense that, when I'm saying you are app, because you are app developer. So we need to take permission from you. So you need to add some declaration saying that this needs camera, access to camera, this needs access to microphone, so that we will allow or deny. So the first thing is we need to add a permission. So where do we add permissions? In the Android manifest.xml. Yesterday we have not used Android manifest.xml, right? We have only used layouts.xml or what is that? Activities. Either activity Java or layouts. Or even build.gradle also we need to change. But today we are starting to change build.gradle for external libraries and manifest Android manifest.xml for declaring the permissions. You are not giving the permissions. Remember, you are declaring the permissions. Okay. So what I'm saying is I need permission to use camera. I need permission to read external storage. External storage means actually not the memory, but the storage. Okay, why do we need it? If camera takes a big, where should I store? Not to the disk. Or if I am using a browse button, from where should I use it? So these two, whenever you add these two, when you open this app for the first time, it will ask for permissions, even in your emulator. So similarly, when you go for physical device also. So for the first time when you run it, it asks for, do you want to allow access to permission? Don't say deny. Okay. Then it will be very difficult. Then I will not help you because I'm not going to help you to tell how do you use Android phone, right? So just allow it because we want to move ahead. Otherwise, we'll be wasting a lot of time. Remember, don't talk with your friends at that point of time and say deny. Allow it. Allow all the permissions for both camera and going ahead we'll also use mine. So now, what is that we write in our activity, right? So whenever somebody clicks on the camera button, there will be a camera button. Essentially, you need to click on that. So you should first write in your layout to have a camera button. Take picture. A button, normal, right? When I say camera button, it doesn't need to be like a camera. Let's just take a picture or browse from gallery. So how do you take it? Before doing anything, first you need to check whether your camera has permission or not in your main account. So this is the code to check the permission. It says in the context compact, check self permissions, whether you have permission to camera or not. Okay, if it is granted, then you move ahead. Otherwise, don't try to take a picture. What will happen is otherwise you get exceptions. I hope you know what are exceptions in Java, right? Exception is something which is not expected. Okay. So I come and say that today's workshop is cancelled. It's an exception. Or I came to workshop, nobody reached me. And I waited till 9. It's an exception. Normally 5 minutes, 4 minutes, it's okay. Like, they'll be late. So whatever we have not expected, if that happens, then it's an exception. So what we are thinking is we get permission granted for camera, but user didn't grant the permission. Then we'll have an exception. So that's why before doing anything, just try to see whether you have permission or not. So now you have taken a picture But if you don't show the picture as a preview, normally people will not understand, right? So we need to show the preview also. At the same time, we also need to put a browse button. So for both those things, we are having these changes in activity main.xml. So one is image preview, right? Image preview is an image view. Remember, this is not text view, edit text above, right? This is a separate one, which actually will allow you to put any picture on the screen, not just camera picture, any picture, right? So this is an image view. See, image view, it has ID, it has width and height, and where it has to put center crop. And then button for camera, last one. And before that, button for gallery. So you have added three things for yesterday's code. One is button for camera, button for gallery, and a place folder where you can show the image. Three things. And for opening the gallery, this is the code we have. So again, I'm telling, for opening a gallery means actually you are going to a new page, essentially, right? So that's why it has an intent. Creation of an intent will create an object, and that object will be nothing but activity. Activity means moving to the next screen. That is what we discussed yesterday, right? So here the intent you are not writing, because this is a standard intent which will be provided by your Android. Okay, it is not like going from login screen to main screen or something. So this is like a browser window. So if you see actually intent.action pick, media storage, images, media external, right? This is something which was written by Android. You are not writing, but you are calling it so that it goes there and it will come back once you select the gallery image. And this is the code for opening the camera. This also same thing. You are not writing. And here you can see that once you get the camera object or you get the image object, you need to check whether whatever the image selected is really image, it has some content, all those things. So this is where we are checking if data is not null, means actually if they are selecting something, right? Otherwise, if they put escape or just swipe back and all, they are not selecting it. Because if you don't select, don't check it and just say image, directly you say that image preview.set image, you may get null point. They haven't selected anything. They just swiped back, which means they are coming back to the previous screen. Okay. And you try to show the preview of what? Nothing. So whenever you try to do any operation on nothing or null, you get null point. Okay. So make sure that they have selected something either through gallery or through camera. For both the things I have put. So for gallery, you say data not equal to null. And for camera, the request code should be 101, which means actually the camera captured successfully. So then only you are showing the preview. So what happens when you click a image or you select the image, it will show the preview, nothing else. Okay. Once you have the image, then you need to use the ML, this thing, ML library, and then need to identify the object. So both labs together, what we have to do in this session is you need to add a image preview. You need to add camera, take photo from camera or something. Pick from gallery, third thing. And whenever I take photo from gallery or pick from, photo from camera or pick from gallery, it should show the preview. And there should also be one more button called get product details. Sorry, not get product details. Identify product. It actually identifies the product, okay, which uses ML. So already these slides are yesterday's slides only. You have this. So with that, we will complete day one. Okay. So let us go back to our places and then start your work. I do this exercise. So your slides has the almost all the code. Just check it and then try to write yourself. And once we assemble back, I'll try to explain and then. Right.